Oh, damn it. I did finish finally in just my state of horrible boredom. What If? I watched the last 2 episodes, which are the last 2 I didn't watch. And
your horrible boredom.
Yeah. And I have to say, it was a cool concept. Like it was, I thought it was kind of dumb that they went back and like, all the ragtag group from this season got back together. But it was a cool, like, Kmart brand Avengers thing going on they had. I thought that was a neat little way to wrap it up. I hope they don't do a season 2. I know they will.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
All the episodes like that, that last arc in the last 2 was kind of like, all right, this one's actually like things that are sort of interesting are happening.
Yeah, like Ultron getting the stones and being all powerful and shit.
Yeah.
I thought that was nifty.
It was all right. It was all right.
We've got so much stuff to go over.
We have a lot.
We're basically the Video Game Awards recap this week.
Yeah.
That's just what we're doing. I read, looking at the doc, I wrote something in all caps for the first week in review that has like no bearing on anything besides like a note that I didn't realize from last week when we talked about the latest Matrix Resurrections trailer. I'm just gonna get into it because fuck it. Let's do this. Welcome.
Oh, I like your Golden Girls t-shirt. It's very...
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Represent.
It's very unironic of you.
Hopefully we don't have, hopefully I don't have coughing fits again and decide to not. That's why we didn't have a video on YouTube last week, because every 2 seconds I would say a line and then you guys couldn't see me, but I would mute my mic and cough horribly into my hand while Derek spoke to cover my tracks. So
every time he coughs, he makes the same face he makes when he comes, and he didn't want everybody to know what that face was, so we just decided
repeatedly.
Yeah.
I'll burn it into your brain. Today, because I have a window right behind me, my skin looks porcelain. That's fine. It's pretty average, pretty run of the mill.
Right,
I'm unshaven, very scruffy. It's okay. Episode 48. We only got 2 more, and we hit the big 5-0.
Hey.
This is the beginning of all the stuff that I'm excited to see come out at the end of this month. Like, this is... We're doing Video Game Awards, mostly Video Game Awards coverage today because of all the trailers that came out. Of course, we're talking about Hawkeye Episode 4. And then, honestly, our other 2 main topics are thoughts on video games that we've recently played and that have recently come out, namely Demon's Souls, since we are both proud fathers of PS5 children now. And Halo, because the campaign just dropped on the 8th earlier this week. So lots of video game stuff. And then, obviously, like we talked about last week, we're going to see Spider-Man this coming Saturday, which means next Sunday you'll have a super fresh review of that bad boy. And then after that, Spider-Man and Witcher 2 come out. Oh man, I keep forgetting about Witcher 2.
Yeah, like the same day as Spider-Man, I think. Pretty sure it's the 17th, so.
Yeah, I'll technically be watching that first because we're not going to see Spider-Man until Saturday night.
Yeah. Which means we're going to have to stay off the internet for like a full 36 hours, which is always a little bit more difficult than it sounds.
I feel like I already know basically everything that's going to happen in this movie. I think the only thing that would really fuck me up is if there was like a movie theater clip of like a really major moment. Like the moment, if someone clips and puts on the internet the moment that, like, I don't know, Toby and Andrew come through and say hi to him, because, I'm probably, it's probably going to get me.
Do you think that's how it's going to happen? They come through this portal and they just go, hey, and that's it. That's the big, hey.
Yeah, they're like, high five.
I'm Peter. Oh, you too. Okay.
Oh, you have web blood. All right, let's fight these bad guys. But yeah, so we have Spider-Man, Witcher 2, and then the next week, we were talking about the thing I couldn't remember that comes out at the end of December. That's the Book of Boba Fett. That's December 29th. So that's right at the end of the month. Just lots of stuff to talk about. So we'll definitely be talking about at least the first 2 episodes of Witcher 2, along with Spider-Man next week. And then the week after will be, if we finish The Witcher 2, or if we've gotten like a decent chunk of the way through, we can play catch up on it. Kind of depends. I mean, we might wait till we I might for series I know we're gonna watch. Maybe we do like 2 episodes initial take, and then once we've finished it,
the full. Yeah. Speaking of, did you watch any more of Arcane?
I haven't this week.
Okay.
No,
that's fine.
I do want to finish it, but I've been falling into a rut every night of not a rut, but a rabbit hole videos.
Right.
It's like random shit. Like, let me watch this guy cook a steak in 3 different ways. Real weird shit. Anyway, let's get into it. So I mean, I'm going to mention it just because I put it in the doc and it's making me chuckle. We talked about the Matrix Resurrections trailer, and there's a line. It didn't even sound like her to me, which is why I didn't pick up on it. But there's a line in the trailer where she says, like, the Matrix, like, puts a bunch of noise in your head, basically. She didn't. And I think she goes on to say, like, there's something else that makes that noise too, and that's war. And it cuts to this old black woman who looks like she is probably in Zion or somewhere like that. It's fucking Niobe, Captain Niobe. It's Jada Pinkett Smith in old lady makeup, and I didn't even recognize her
because of the cloudy eye. That's what does it. Right,
she has a cloudy eye. I think that further proves the theory I was running off of, which is that it's absolutely our Neo. I don't know what they did to him, but him and Trinity obviously are aging much slower. Maybe that goop is just great for your skin. The Niobe's way older. Morpheus is clearly dead, but there's a young one in the Matrix. Like something weird's going on.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I keep seeing little clips from it here and there, and I'm interested to see what they do. I hope the story is as interesting as it appears to be, and not just some kind of straightforward like, oh, I get it right when the movie starts playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope it takes me for a loop.
You said it all. I mean, it's we've talked about this movie kind of ad nauseum at this point. Just kind of have to wait for it to come out. We might have to schedule another mandate so that we can review that one soon as possible. But no, I agree. It looks great. Like when they had announced it, my attitude was kind of like,
oh my god, bro.
Excuse me. My attitude was
we don't have to schedule a mandate. It comes out on HBO Max. It's going to be out the 22nd. It comes out the week after Spider-Man.
Oh,
boom.
Nice. Okay. Well, then forget
totally
that.
Forgot.
Fuck the mandate. Who needs it? Right? I didn't want to like see you or spend time with you or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really want
to. No. Anyway, it looks good. I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, that means our schedule is refined to basically Spider-Man, Witcher 2, next week, and then the week after Matrix and something else.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of cool stuff to talk about. I'm excited, and it's going to be poignant. We're going to be hitting it right after it comes out. This is a random piece of news, and there's only like 2 random pieces of news that don't involve video games this week. Yeah. And the first one is that we had rumors about a Batman spinoff show. It sounds like Warner Brothers really wants to do like, we have this movie, and then we want a show related to it on HBO Max, which it's not going to work for everything. Mm-hmm. However, originally there was talks of like a GCPD spinoff for the Batman, which now that we've seen like the grounded take in the trailer, it probably would have been okay. But this is that Colin Farrell is supposed to star in the Batman spinoff they'll feature his Penguin. And just because Colin Farrell's a good actor and he looks amazing in that makeup, I'm on board for it. Like I think it sounds like a neat idea. There's nothing official about it yet. There's a trailer. It was just news that this is happening. And how's it tickle your cheeks?
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, I was saying last week that it seems like all these networks and streaming services are basically finding like their bag, and then they just want to make a bunch of spin-offs of that bag. And I think like that in itself is annoying to me. I don't know why. Like I can't pin down what it is. That's like, I guess maybe because it's like you could use those resources to like make new things or whatever. But like you said, like sometimes it's going to hit, sometimes it's going to miss. So the team behind this seems to be pretty impressive. So, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see. I'm wondering though, if it's going to be like shying away from the sort of superhero versus villain aspect of it and more of like a crime boss, like a mafia boss TV show, like The Sopranos within Gotham or something, which might be kind of cool, right? I mean, that could be interesting, but I mean, I'll check it out. But like I said, just the whole like, oh, we have this like huge IP that's like a monster and we're just going to make little, things on the side to like support that. I don't know. It's I'm getting a little tired of it.
Yeah, I can see that. This is not in the doc, but I read an article think it was from Hollywood Reporter. Might have been from Forbes, actually, because it was money related.
Mm.
Which is that HBO Max has had in the war and the oversaturation of streaming services, HBO Max not only kept its subscriber base, but grew over this past year. And they're attributing all that positive growth to the fact that Warner Brothers decided to release all those movies day and date on their service. Like, it gives HBO Max this inherent value that these other services just don't have, because no one else is doing that. Even Disney Plus, they're like, oh, hey, here's Black Widow, but you got to pay $40 to see it on top of your subscription. Whereas Warner Brothers is just like, nah, dude, here it is. And we talked about this, like, it might have been a financial hit to them because these movies aren't going to pull in the numbers they were going to do if they were just in theaters. However, it was during the pandemic when box office returns were already hugely hampered. So I don't know. I don't know what the math is on it, but I mean, to them, it looks good. I think they're up to like 70 million subscribers or something, and they were at like 65 last year or something. So not only did they retain, but they grew. Good for them. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think they're going to continue to do the day and date on HBO Max. That's up as of 2021. I think like Resurrections is the last film that's going to do that, actually. But
the argument that, like, I think what they do is they see like, oh, well, this many people watched it on HBO Max, which means that's how many ticket sales we missed in theaters. It absolutely does not mean that whatsoever.
100%.
There are movies I would have, the Mortal Kombat movie, I wouldn't have seen that in theaters. I would have waited
Godzilla vs. Kong.
Godzilla vs. Kong, exactly.
Like,
there are the overwhelming majority. The only reason that I saw them, and I'm sure that the studios are benefiting in some way, a deal with HBO Max. It's not like they're giving away the rights for free. It's a goofy argument. You didn't miss out on these millions and millions of dollars. I would have never even known your movie existed if you didn't find some new way to, bring it to people who couldn't leave their home.
And here's the thing. I mean, so I'm paying you a subscription. You're letting me watch this movie. You're getting money for it, even if it's not the ticket sale price that you want. However, that's how you get people to pay for content, because and this is like the argument against piracy. They're like, if you give people a reasonable way to watch and pay for something, they typically will do that. Like, and I know that like can be an optimistic view of humanity sometimes, but like, if this movie was not on a streaming service, Godzilla vs. Kong, I would have pirated it, and I would have pirated it at Warner Brothers. Listen, because I don't give a shit enough about Godzilla vs. Kong to go pay to see it. So I pay for your service. You put it on the service. I'll gladly watch it. Therefore, I've paid to stream it. If you didn't do it, I would have watched it for free, because I never in my fucking 34 years on this earth would have paid for a fucking ticket to go see it. I have very moderate interest in it. And to be honest, it was kind of a disappointment for me anyway. So thank you. I hope you guys decide to do something cool like this next year. I mean, honestly, I hope it makes at least the executives go, what is going to set us apart? But like HBO Max is a really good vault of these original HBO series that were all critically acclaimed. But like, besides that, what's going to set us apart? What's going to make people, not only stay here and pay for this, but how do we get more subscribers? And it's a tricky answer, because there's literally, I mean, there's a fucking Paramount Plus out now. Like, what is that even?
Yeah.
Why does that exist?
Well, I think one of the things that people, not to harp on this for too long, but one of the things I think throughout the pandemic that people like worldwide learned is that a whole lot of shit that we do to leave our homes, you do not have to leave your home for. Like a lot of like working from home, like all the, I just hope that moving forward, once we're getting to the end of this, if we ever fucking do, we can come up with new ways, to view content from home. Because like we've said a million times on the show, Veronica and I have a newborn. So like you and I going to see No Way Home is sort of a planetary alignment thing where like, but her and I going to see a movie together, like how would that ever, like, it's just not, we're not going to bring a baby into a movie theater. We're not going to be those people. So there are certain things, again, but you would miss out on our money either way, because there's no way for us to feasibly go do it because we have a baby at home. I'm not saying that, people with babies at home should be the primary focus of any new and upcoming technology. I'm just saying, for example, it's one of the many examples of why things should probably change around a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. What was I going to say? Oh, I probably told the story before, but my Infinity War premiere. Like we babyless, had nothing to do. Went to go see it, and then it released. Someone brought a fucking baby into the theater. Who
throw
cried.
that baby out in the fucking street. Goodbye, baby.
The baby started crying in like the previews, and we were all like, "Fucking, you're kidding me, right?" And eventually, I think like they got booed out of the theater. We were like, "Get the fuck out!" Like, sorry, your dollar's not equal to mine. If you're infringing on my ability to watch this movie, get the fuck out of the theater. Have them refund you your ticket.
Dude,
sorry, bye.
My mom and dad went and saw a movie with my niece when she was like a year and a half old. Not only did they bring a year and a half old to the movie theater, they were taking selfies with the flash on in the movie theater, and you could see people in the background of these pictures like what the fuck are you guys doing?
No, I can't tolerate that shit.
Yeah, pretty bad.
I am so good at holding my tongue in public. I just keep that rage in me, but sometimes movie theaters just seems to come. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to great news. Cowboy Bebop has been canceled after the first season. I would say that I'm surprised, but neither Derecho nor myself liked it very much. Did you ever finish it? I didn't. I said I was gonna, and I never did. Nope. I was like, yeah, I can't turn this back on. I said I was good. I don't want to.
I'm like, is this really how I'm going to spend my night? Like knowing that I'm going to watch something that I don't like doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Apparently, after the first week, the viewer numbers dropped through the fucking floor, 60%. And honestly, like we talked about, those viewer numbers initially were because of curiosity. We were all just curious to see if that show had anything cool to it. And the answer was no. I think John Cho is a great actor. I love him. I like the guy who played Holy Cow.
Jet. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot. I think those two actually were very well cast, but the show was not good.
Yeah, Jet was really the only thing that was good about that show. I mean, literally everything around him was just terrible. Oh,
you don't like John Cho?
I didn't even really like. I like John Cho. I didn't like him in that role though. But
that's fair.
I'm just happy to see it go. I have to say, like, I'm happy. Like for years, I've been talking shit on this for years, way before the podcast when they first announced it, which I think was like 4 or 5 years ago. I have just been shitting all over it, and I just feel vindicated. Like, I just feel great right now. I am so high right now. Netflix sent me a letter, like, personally and said, like, you were right. And that's it. Signed by President Netflix. And that's it.
President Netflix?
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Moving on to unironically more great news. That makes sense, right? Sure. Flipping the script. It Takes Two. Darling video game that Derek and I played together on stream a couple months back. Which is magically enchanting. Fuck you. Wins Game of the Year 2021. I gotta admit, I was a little surprised by that. I think it 100% deserved it, but I just did not expect it. I mean, to give you an example, there's a bunch of smaller titles in every category up for an award, and there were some really great games. And I kept seeing stuff like, Deathloop from Ubisoft win shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. So, typical. We're just going for the big studio games. And then out of nowhere, It Takes Two won Game of the Year. And I think it's wonderful. It was a fantastic game. I don't know. We talked about it on the podcast previously, so I don't really have a lot to say about the game.
Yeah.
But congratulations to that developer. Really fantastic. I mean, you beat out Deathloop, Metroid Dread for the top spot. I thought that game was just so endearing. It never got boring. Every level had a new, I want to say gimmick, which sounds negative, but in this case, I don't mean it that way, because every one of them was just so much fun. And it really did, require, I was going to say require and inspire teamwork. And it was magically enchanting. It was a good time. I'm doubling down on that. I'll take that as my moniker. Okay. Put that on my tombstone. Magically enchanting.
I'm not even kidding. My heart is warmed by the fact that they won this because they really deserved it. Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit all the marks. Like, I think we're moving to a spot in gaming where for like the past 15 years, it's like all the clones of clones of clones have always won all the awards and gotten the best sales. And we're like, just this year moving away from that, which I think is fucking awesome. If you look at the reviews for all the recent FPSs that came out, even Halo Infinite, Battlefield 2042, Call of Duty Vanguard, they all have like middling to bad reviews. Of those three, Halo Infinite is actually kind of tends to be rated the highest. But like those have always been like 9 out of 10 games or 10 out of 10
Right.
or whatever. And now like these huge reviewing companies are like bringing that downward. And then stuff that's doing like new things it's just getting the praise that it deserves. I feel like we're moving away from like formulaic gameplay, which is exciting because it is kind of time to get rid of that shit. I had seen, just as a side note, only tangentially related, but best ongoing game went to I don't even remember what it was. But like somebody was pissed it wasn't Fortnite. And it's like, is that really is it an ongoing game or will it just not fucking go away? Like there's a huge difference between those two things. But no, I'm so happy for them that they won. And I hope that this is a trend that kind of keeps popping up moving forward.
Yeah, me too. Well said. All right, so we are officially moving into the trailers from the Video Game Awards show. Starts off with a really fucking cool one, in my opinion. Well, I already got the cat out of the bag. So, first up is Star Wars Eclipse. This is being made by the Quantic Dream, Quantic Dream Studios in conjunction with Lucasfilm. Sorry. So apparently I don't know if you know about this, but there's a bunch of I don't know, hoopla, a bunch of bad stuff swirling around this developer, Quantic Dream.
Oh yeah.
I had never heard that, so I didn't hear about it until they were announced as being a part of this. I'm not clear on the allegations, so I will not say them because I don't want to misspeak on it. But they were the target of a couple investigations or complaints about the way management handled things behind the scenes. Anyway, that being said, this trailer is called Star Wars Eclipse. It takes place in the High Republic era. So months ago, we talked about how the Lucasfilm was launching this new multimedia initiative. They had, these novels that came out and these comics, and all centered around this High Republic era, which is a couple hundred years before the original trilogy, which is convenient for them because you can still have people like Yoda show up. But other than that, different time, different place. Even 100 years can change a culture a lot. So a lot of things are unique. This trailer gives nothing away, but it's the description is just set during the High Republic era. Eclipse is an intricately branching action-adventure game that can be experienced in many ways and puts the destinies of multiple playable characters in your hands. The trailer I thought was haunting and really fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it's kind of set around this one major event of this eclipse, with this almost tribalistic alien race beating these massive drums to it, and then just kind of showing us glimpses of these gorgeous shots. I mean, Jesus Christ, there's a ringed planet with a ship coming down into it, and it just everything looks so fucking good. There's a couple marketplace shots here that I actually, for a split fucking second, thought were live action. Mm-hmm. Like, no lie, I don't mean that facetiously. Like, I know sometimes you go, oh my god, it almost looked live action. I actually thought, and I'm staring at it when it first cuts into this marketplace on this planet, that it was live action, and then it takes a couple of seconds of movement for your eyes to be like, oh no, I can tell that's not real. It's CGI, but it looks so photorealistic. There's not a whole lot to say about it besides it looks cool. And I'm down to see what it's about, and I hope it really is this giant Star Wars RPG because I would love nothing more than to get one of those. Discord that's the shot I'm talking about. Yeah. When it first pops into that marketplace, I was like, "Holy shit, they did this live!" And I was like, "Oh, never mind, that's fake." Yeah. How'd you feel about this? Do you like it? Like I like it?
Yeah, no, I did. It was like tonally different than anything we've seen in Star Wars in a long time. It was very like dark and weird. So just that alone, if that's sort of the tone that the game is going for, is exciting because I'm kind of tired of the like cheery, everything's going to work out in the end type thing that every single movie has. Quantic Dream games, there's a big divide on them. Some people call them, they did like Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human. So
that's right.
They're really like QTE heavy games. And so like, I actually, even though I loved those two games, like incredibly, like the stories told in those games are just incredible. I can't really argue with that argument, that it's like, well, you're going to pay $60 to just like hit a button at the right time over and over again. Like that makes perfect sense. I get that. That being said, the writing team behind those two games, and again, we know nothing about this really, but behind those two games was so good, told an extremely compelling, extremely emotional story both times. A lot of people didn't like Detroit Become Human because there were, what's the word I'm looking for here? There was like an allegory relating the androids in that to black people during the civil rights era. So like androids have to sit in the back of the bus and stuff. And so people thought like that was a little too on the nose. That kind of stirred up all this investigation into Quantic Dream. As far as like what was found, how they're treating their employees, that part I know nothing about. I just know that the left fucking hates Quantic Dream for the fact that they sort of used those, you know, those ways of showing that androids are treated improperly. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I would hope that they would implement some kind of like action to it, some kind of gameplay to it, as well as that intense story. And like the Heavy Rain and Detroit are known for basically like you can get a zillion different outcomes to the story if you do things wrong or fail this or choose this path or that path. So I would love to see that in a Star Wars game because that always makes it more replayable because then you want to see how like, what happens when you go, you know, with this person or so that person, et cetera, et cetera. So no, I think it's going to be awesome.
And I also want to, I was going to say this, if they pull that off and they have that kind of outcome, it makes me feel like we're getting, you know, like a modern day KOTOR almost. However, we are getting a KOTOR.
We're getting one. Yeah.
Coming to the PS5, Virtual High Five. It was announced at the PlayStation event, so there was no word on if it was an exclusive or not, but I totally forgot about that till right now. And that makes me very happy. Very happy. I love that game very much. I wonder if they're going to keep the turn-based or if they're going to revamp combat a bit.
I think they've already said, like, they didn't say specifically what they're revamping, but they said that it's going to be like a new system.
Interesting.
Which makes sense because the originals were based on Dungeons and Dragons 3.5, which they don't have the licensure for anymore. So, yeah,
it was fun, but you know, it would feel dated, I think, if they kept it. All right, next up. In the trailers is a big one, actually. If you're a survival horror fan, Alan Wake 2, our very own Scooth. Was very, very, very excited about this on the Twitters. Alan Wake 2 was officially revealed coming out in 2023. I actually thought this reveal trailer was pretty sick. He said something about like the story is a monster or something like that at the end, and it was very, very chilling, very interesting. I have something to admit because I'm only very mild fan of things horror. I never played Alan Wake, so I don't. I know it's lauded as a great game. I've heard it was wonderful. I never got around to it. When it came out, I was like, okay, not super interested. And then, like, I don't know, 5 years went by, and I'm like, yeah, it's too old now. So yeah, I'm going back. I don't look back at my rear view.
It's really, the writing in that game is incredible. I would recommend it. I don't really care for horror games either, but it's very, very well done. That's the same studio that did like Control, right? I think they did Control as well.
Remedy? Yeah.
Yeah. And Control is supposed to be, not that that's what we're talking about right now, but this was a very short teaser trailer. Not a whole lot to say about it. Control is another one I have to pick up. Apparently people say that's another like masterpiece.
I played like 3 hours of Control, and I have no good reason to have stopped playing it. It was very cool.
Yeah.
The lore was very interesting. It was like X-Files meets like, I don't know, Twilight Zone. It's really interesting. Like as the house, it's called like the oldest house, I think, like this agency you work in. It's really cool how they try to like, everything has like an actual realistic background, but it's obviously very fantastical at the same time. It's really cool. Okay, Alan Wake 2. Next up, the thing we all expected to see. Live action Halo trailer. We saw a tease for this, and you and I both kind of groaned and eye rolled. I have to say, I still groaned and eye rolled because I really don't see how you make a compelling show about Master Chief. However, this did a little bit to make me understand what they're going for. It very much seems to be, yeah, of course, Master Chief is going to be like the center of the action and the intrigue, but it also looks like it's focusing a lot on the people around him. There's a lot of decent actors and actresses in this trailer that I've recognized from other things. And honestly, some kind of beautiful visuals in this. I mean, clearly CGI, nothing groundbreaking, but like there's a couple human cities here that look really cool. There's a shot of like a city built into the side of an asteroid with like tethers to smaller asteroids on it. Like some pretty cool stuff. This is coming to Paramount Plus, 2022. I'm sorry, I can't like not say Paramount Plus without chuckle because it feels like the least serious streaming service there. So I'm sorry, Paramount Plus. I will not. One. Yeah, I will not pay for you. And to be honest, if someone tells me the Halo show is good, I'm gonna probably pirate it or free trial it. So I'm sorry. I'm just being honest with you. Okay, I just want you to know you have no chance with me. Okay, we're not going to be together.
I may have been influenced by like the Halo Infinite, which obviously we're going to pour into that later. But I actually thought it looked cool. Like I was surprised. I went into this trailer ready to just shit all over my computer screen. Like just, just runny diarrhea all over the whole thing. And it ended up, it's kind of, not that there's anything really revealed about the story, but at least like aesthetically, they've kind of nailed it. I don't know. I think it looks good.
You know, the part that actually annoyed me the most. So I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. Like I said, it kind of, I was like, all right, you're building out the world around them. I see a cool human city, which I feel like I've never seen in a Halo thing. Like a human, it's always just a ring or wherever Master Chief is. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Okay, a little sci-fi channel feeling to it, but it looks like it might be well done sci-fi channel. And then the shot of actual Master Chief like slamming down into the dust was the part that lost me. I was like,
me too. I felt the
cosplayer showed up. Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
I just can't take that like land on one knee with the fist in the dirt and slow raising the head anymore. Like that's been so overdone. Like just why it didn't need to be in.
We've already like satirized it like in Deadpool, like the superhero landing. We had it and it was cool. They satirized it. Everyone understands how silly it is now, and you're still using it as if no one's made fun of it.
Yeah,
like you're still doing it real serious, like it's still 2003. So, good for you, Halo. Just really sticking to your guns, pun intended. Okay, next trailer, and that was one of the only that was revealed during the Game Awards, obviously because of its ties to Halo. But that was one of the only, I think, shows besides one more. A sequel to an Academy Award nominated movie we'll talk about later. However, up next is a cute little thing that Derek put in here, and there's a whole paragraph in here about how I should like it. I'm gonna let you go first. What's this game called? What is it? What's going on with it?
It's called Have a Nice Death, and although I don't quite know the premise of the story, it seems like death is too many people are dying and Death can't naturally take care of it, so Death, like the entity himself, has to go to Earth to like kill people, but in a cute way, in like a Cuphead animated cute way. Seems like a sort of 2D bash 'em up type thing. All of that stuff is not what matters. The art direction and the tone of this is what matters. Let me just read what I wrote. Every now and then we write cute little notes to one another in our Google Doc. And I'm just going to say it out loud. Go ahead. Look me into my face and tell me this doesn't look endearing as fuck. Look at the love that was put into every frame of animation and tell me this isn't a passion project. Look at the cheeky Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy inspired tongue-in-cheek humor and tell me it didn't momentarily make you forget all of your woes and just have a good, honest chuckle. No, really, go ahead. I fucking dare you. Tell me you won't buy this game. I want to hear you say it.
I will 100% buy this game. It looks very adorable.
Especially if it's going to be like $15, right? It's going to be a cheapie.
Probably. Yeah. This is actually coming to early access March 22nd, so it's not that far off. The gameplay gives me Hollow Knight vibes.
Yeah. That's that's the actual reason I put it in there. I know you said you really loved that game, and it kind of looks like that.
Yeah, like you said, the animation looks really cool. The level design, a lot of hand-drawn stuff. It looks very cool. And to be honest, even though he's animated, Death looks like a fucking badass. He's throwing his scythe out on a rope, basically a chain, but it's softly drawn, so it's a rope. But
a
it looks really cool.
drawn chain.
Yeah, softly drawn chain is a rope. I heard Confucius say that one time. Okay, moving on. This one's called Nightingale. It was a reveal trailer. It's coming early access to 2022 on PC. So I saw that you said, I'm surprised that you missed this. I didn't miss it. I just didn't put it in the doc because I was so very unsure about it.
Really? Okay.
It looks like there's a pretty heavy crafting component. I mean, we see them building bases. There's a real weird gothic Victorian era vibe to it. I mean, they're all dressed like like they're from the Victoria area, London, fighting these really wicked looking creatures. I'm really not sure what the fuck the game, like minute to minute gameplay here is. Like, is it like Icarus where they warp you somewhere and you have an objective but you have to build a base to like then go out and do that objective? Like I don't know really what the trailer is interesting, I guess, but I don't know, the whole Victoria era London design, I don't like that stuff.
Oh, okay.
That stuff's like a turn off to me. Especially when it's like this, when they're like one's in a fucking masquerade ball mask and
right.
You know, fucking I don't know. It looks kind of goofy to be honest with you. The fucking creature design looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these monsters looks really sick. It's an intriguing premise, but I'm very unsure. I want to see gameplay.
Yeah.
I want to see more about it. It's definitely intriguing. I just want to see where it goes. The building aspects are neat. I'm unsure how much we're going to lean on that. If the answer is a lot, then I might be on board because we all know is building aspects.
I had assumed it was like a resource gathering thing to build a town that's fortified to stop the monster giant things from invading. That's what I got from it anyway. But I guess now that you're saying that, I don't think there was any cuts of them like out chopping down trees or anything like that. So I don't know. That would be kind of lame if you just showed up at a spot and they were like, "Here's some stuff to build houses. Good luck. Bye." That would be kind of goofy. If it's like a resource gathering to then build that town, I think that could be kind of fun.
They do show a couple shots of like blacksmithing weapons and stuff, mm-hmm. but that doesn't really tell me a whole lot. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know what? They do show it. Well, okay, they don't. It's just like a Fortnite almost building system, which is what's kind of throwing me off. But mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna wait for a gameplay reveal to come out. It could be cool. Just the character design, the whole Victorian era thing. I don't. One of the first comments on this video really sums up how I feel about it. Really stoked about all the quote, "I don't know what this is, but looks cool" games coming out lately. All right, so moving on. I'm gonna let you do this. Start off with this one. This is your baby, right? Maybe. I don't know how you feel about this.
This is my baby. No, it is. Okay. The only reason I put this in here is because I remember when we had talked about this a long time ago.
Long time.
There was a gameplay trailer. It's weird they kind of flipped it. They did gameplay and then cinematic. I just thought it was cool that I remember when we talked about it then, we had read a little bit about it, and it was essentially going to have like a morality system where do you do things, you know, according to Smeagol's voice in your head, which is sort of the good path, or do you do things the way Gollum tells you to do, which is probably the easier way to do it, but you're like killing people, whatever. So I thought it was interesting that he had that like pot of, you know, like boiling magma over the orcs that he had to get by. And he's kind of having an argument with himself, like, do we, don't we? And of course, ultimately he does. But it also raises the question. It's like, well, the orcs are the bad guys. So it's not like there are a bunch of nice, sweetheart little elves down there that he burnt alive. Like it was orcs. So was it really like a bad thing?
Yeah.
I just think
it's so easy to become Gollum, baby.
Yeah, I know how I'm ending. I know what my world tendency will be. No, I just think it's a cool concept. I think every Lord of the Rings game has some like huge scale action adventure type thing. It's just nice to see one that's just like a stealth, you know, something like if you get caught, you're probably just donezo and you got to do it over again. Could be cool. That's it.
Word. I have to say, I am not sold on his voice. I don't.
Or his face.
I think it's just. I think it. Well, yeah, it looks a little off, but I think it's just because we're so used to the wonderful Andy Serkis voicing him that this just sounds like someone hired like
and
a cheap YouTube
him.
personality to and facing him. It could be cool though. I mean, I like stealth sneak around videos like morality tales where they kind of force you to choose. You know, do you want to be what was it, Renegade or Paragon?
Mm-hmm.
From the Mass Effect franchise.
If you're familiar with that, it was the Mass Effect franchise.
A small indie game from back in 2008.
I don't want this to become a trend here, but this comment on this Gollum cinematic trailer really got me. Final boss is Samwise Gamgee, who uses potatoes as projectiles. The strategy to beat him is to accuse him of eating all the lambus bread until he cries and can't fight anymore. You heard it here first. Oh, man. Okay, so we got that cinematic trailer. And then on the flip side, where we got a cinematic for Gollum, we got gameplay for the next one, which is the Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady, which is officially titled Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So we saw the cinematic trailer for this game a couple weeks ago. I'd almost say like a month or two ago. This has been in development for the longest fucking time. I mean, Arkham Knight came out, Jesus, what was it, 2016, 2015?
Yeah, long time ago.
They've had their heads down on this for quite a long time, and the one thing that you can never fault Rocksteady for is their polish. I mean, Arkham Knight might have came out running like a garbage can of potatoes on PC, but it looks phenomenal and ran great on consoles, and the Arkham Knight issues on PC were because of the company they chose to do the port. They didn't actually do it themselves. However, this looks phenomenal. Like character model design, a lot of this is actual gameplay footage, and even in the gameplay scenarios, everything looks incredible. I'm interested to see how it plays. So obviously the whole kind of shtick with this is that you're the bad guys, right? You're the Suicide Squad. You're the quote unquote villains. And it looks like Brainiac has come down and in typical Brainiac fashion, taken control of our vaulted superheroes. And this is in the Arkhamverse. So this is the Arkhamverse version of Flash and Superman and all those that we love and hold dear. And I think they're, kind of trying to hide the other surprises for the other superheroes. I mean, we had previously seen like Green Lantern show up, I think, in the cinematic trailer. Of course, Superman is in it. I don't know if Batman will be, but we see hints of Batman in it. I think it was specifically Harley Quinn, I think, is using some kind of bat gadget in her fighting. But they show a lot of Flash in this, who's clearly under the influence of Brainiac, and therefore, the role reversal here is him being the bad guy. Boomerang looks like they all look like they have different traversal methods in this world, but Boomerang looks very fun to get around on.
Really fun, yeah.
I can't look. The only way they could fuck this game up, in my opinion, is if they put a tank in it that you have to drive for a huge chunk of the story, because I think that they had such a great handle on combat in those games, especially by Arkham Knight. The combat was so fucking fluid hand to hand. So combat systems, I'm not worried about. They also had a lot of practice, especially towards Arkham Knight, with having multiple people in the same battle that you could switch between. I don't know if it's going to be a thing here, but there was like the buddy system in Arkham Knight, where in the middle of a combo, if you triggered it in a certain way, you would switch from Batman to Nightwing, and you could control him for a bit and switch back. Really cool combos they put in there. They did a really badass job of that, and I hope that all of that experience comes into this, and it becomes this really like just orchestra of fucking awesome combat. And the gameplay trailer looks like a lot of fun. I've been rambling. How'd you feel about it?
That's okay. This is your baby. This is your honey bear. This is your universe. The DC extended universe. No, I agree. I think it looks really fun. The only concern I have with it is, like, how's it going to work switching between characters? Do you get to like decide what character you want to be for every mission? Is it like you have to be this character for that mission? And is it like you can choose to be, two of them for, like, I just don't know how that's going to work. I hope that you're not just like shoehorned into being whoever they want you to be for every single specific part of the game. Like, I hate being locked in like that. I'm sure it'll be like that at first, like that you have a forced introduction for every character to learn their moveset and their, like you said, their traversal. But hopefully beyond that, they just go, okay, be whoever you want. Go ahead. Like maybe there are missions where it makes more sense to be Harley than it does to be King Shark. But I think that like the freedom of choice is kind of what would make this, go from being a good game to a great game. I agree, though. I have a lot of faith in this studio. So, I mean, I look forward to it.
Yeah, the world looks really cool. I mean, just the fact that they literally have showed, gameplay clips from each character makes me more confident that you will be able to switch it. Maybe if not on demand, then very frequently throughout combat.
Yeah.
I'm just letting it play in the background while we were talking, and
yeah, that's what I was doing.
the bat gadget I was talking about. I mean, just to make Harley more mobile, it looks like she's got like a little bat drone or something that she uses to like latch onto and swing around. It looks like a lot of fun. I hope it is. Obviously, King Shark looks to be like the big Hulk smasher boy. And you got Deadshot, Boomerang. Boomerang looks like a ton of fucking fun.
Yeah, he looks like
I know I said it already
so far. Yeah.
But he's got some kind of like speed enhancement on there, which is not typical. So obviously they're getting some kind of power ups for the game. And that makes sense. It's a video game. You need to have your characters about equal. Otherwise, switching between them just for strengths won't make any sense.
Yeah.
But this is coming out in 2022, so it's been forever. It is now on the horizon. They didn't give a month. It just says 2022, but I'm looking forward to it. If they don't give a month and they give a year, that usually means holiday,
it's
right?
Holiday, yeah.
I mean,
like 9 out of 10 times, yeah.
It's going to come out on PC. I might actually, just because the Arkham Knight launch left a bad taste in my mouth, because I'm definitely going to be doing a controller with this. This is the type of game you use a controller for. I might actually wait till it comes out and see how the different versions do. I know my PC is a beefy bitch right now. However, Arkham Knight on PC was such a disappointment. If you also remember, I think Arkham Knight on PC was like delayed by like 3 weeks from so consoles got it first. I had to wait 3 weeks and then it was still shit. So, we'll see. Okay. Now on to the announced sequel for the Academy Award nominated film Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And they released the trailer here. There's 2 Sonic-related pieces of news. Obviously, Jim Carrey is back as the good doctor. James Marsden is back as, I don't know, our human link to Sonic. It's always there for. It's for us to have a point of entry in this story. Us to feel like we're in his shoes. However, I got to tell you something. I actually like this trailer. They're leaning so heavily into like the silly game aspects of it with like Dr. Robotnik looking just... I mean, the mustache is ridiculous. I fucking love it. But Knuckles looks cool. Knuckles is voiced by... We talked about this news when it was announced, and hearing him do it, I'm like, oh, fuck me. Like, punch me, Knuckles. Come on, daddy. Knuckles is being voiced by Idris fucking Elba. The introduction of Tails here, I mean, they're just going balls to the wall. Just full on. The first movie was not great, but they obviously love the source material enough some people really loved it. It did okay. Obviously, they're making a sequel to it. And let's just all remember R.I.P. the original iteration of Sonic and how horrifying Sonic Tails and Knuckles would be if they were made in the same style.
Oh God!
And
this is what happens. This is why it's important to bully people. Seriously, you have to bully people. Make them feel like shit about themselves, and then you get what you want. This is just. There could not be a clearer case of this than with that horrendous Sonic design. Everybody made fun of them relentlessly, and then they made it look good. Listen to me, listeners. Bully everyone that you see. It helps them do the right thing.
Look at Knuckles. He punches people. Yeah. He becomes friends with Sonic.
He's a bully, yeah.
This comes out April 8th, 2022. Also not that far away, but how did you feel about this trailer?
I felt amazingly about it. I'm more excited about this movie than I am about The Matrix and No Way Home combined. It looks fucking incredible. I liked the first. I don't know if you remember when we talked about it. I liked the first one. I didn't think it was great or anything, but it surprised the hell out of me. The only thing about the first movie and this trailer that I don't like is I just don't like the guy that voices Sonic. I can't stand his voice.
You don't like Ben Schwartz,
but everything around it is so good that I just don't care. I watched this and like audibly like like exclaimed when Knuckles was on screen, and when Idris Elba was like, "What makes you think I'd want your power?" or wherever he says. Oh my! I literally went in the other room and got Veronica. I was like, "You gotta come watch this." Odin was taking a nap. She came in. She got all amped. Oh, we can't wait! It's gonna be awesome. It looks great.
Nice. I had a good time with it. I thought it was fun. Like I said, Idris Elba. I was like, "Oh, daddy, punch me next."
Go knuckle deep in me there, Knuckles.
Gross. All right. Next announcement from the Sonic universe. Sonic Frontiers, which is the next Sonic game coming out, arrives next year, holiday 2022. And really the catch here, the gimmick, is that it's Sonic in what looks like kind of a big open world. Looks like a big, like, I don't want to say Breath of the Wild, but kind of Breath of the Wildish, minus the cell shaded bullshit. I mean, it's this huge open world with clear nods to Sonic levels and terrain. I mean, there are ringed paths to walk on, cool tall structures that you can run up. It just looks kind of neat. We've never seen Sonic in that avenue before. Who knows? Wouldn't it be cool if it was like a Death Stranding / Sonic the Hedgehog mashup? Obviously, it won't fucking be, but that'd be kind of neat.
Well, with that giant thing, I was like, is this Shadow of the Colossus Sonic or something? Like that huge towering thing at the end?
I haven't legitimately played the Sonic the Hedgehog game in a very, very long fucking time. But hey, it looks kind of interesting. How'd you feel about it? How'd it tickle you?
I don't give a shit.
Oh, okay.
I don't care.
Okay.
2D or nothing. Like, I hate to sound like that. None of the 3D ones are good. They're never good. They're never good.
I haven't touched one.
I honestly don't think I have either, but like I watch YouTube videos on them. Like I've seen people play them, and I've seen like people only complain about them. Like that's all that they do. Nobody has anything nice to say about them. They did Sonic Mania a couple years ago, which was like I think the story behind that was a bunch of fans made like a new Sonic game, like unofficially. And so Sega was just like, instead of suing them, was like, all right, well, we'll pay you to just make a licensed one. And they did, and we got Sonic Mania, and it was really good. It was just like the old ones. But then, like, even though the success of it, they learned nothing from the success of it, essentially. And they just went right back to the 3D ones, and people just started hating them again. It's the 3D ones just tend to not work out. I'm not even that crazy about the 2D ones. Like, they're fun. I'll play them for like a couple hours or whatever, and then I'm just like, all right. I was always more of a Mario guy. What can I say? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see, I guess, right?
You know what's weird to me? This has nothing to do with the game itself. Well, I mean, I guess it has to do with the game itself, but it's coming out holiday 2022, so it's coming out next holiday, and it's still releasing for current gen consoles. It's PS5, PS4, the Series X/S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. It's just weird. I don't know.
It's not too weird, though, is it? I feel like last gen keeps getting releases for a good couple years into the next gen's shelf life.
I guess just since we're already on board the next gen train.
Yeah, now we're like, fuck them. Yeah. Why should they get to get it?
Yeah, fuck you guys. All right. Moving on. There's not much to say about this, but it looks cool to me nonetheless. They have revealed that the developers from Monolith are making a Wonder Woman video game. There's nothing else to say about this. There's no release date. There's no story element. It's just a really cool voiceover, flashing the various iconic imagery of Wonder Woman. You know, her gauntlets, the lasso of truth, the fucking headband. You know, all that stuff. That's it. There's nothing else to it. But I think that a Wonder Woman game, if done right, could be pretty fucking cool because she's got some neat powers that would be fun to play with. Namely, she could probably like basically swing around the city like Spider-Man, right? So. That'd be neat. I don't know why I made a whip.
I hope it makes that sound every time you do it too.
Yeah. If not, I'll just do it myself.
Right. Yeah, there's literally nothing to say about this trailer, right? Like nothing happened. All I can say is that it's Monolith Studios. They did the Shadow of Mordor games, and those were very, very well done. They were kind of like the Arkham Batman games inspired in that it's like that wide counter X to strike, you know, build up a certain combo meter, hit this to do a group attack, like that kind of thing. But in the Lord of the Rings universe, they were very, very well done. So like that alone is a plus for me. But again, nothing happened. They essentially just held up like a Polaroid of Wonder Woman, and we're like, we're making a game, and that was it. That was the whole trailer. So,
and a poorly timed yawn come in. Her 3D model looks really good. Like I was just rewatching it. But I mean, that's expected at this point in time. If you have a shitty 3D model and that's all you're showing, then you kind of fucked up, huh?
Yeah.
All right. You kind of fucked up, yeah? Your 3D model shit in it. All right. Next up, something we're very excited for. I feel like we talk about it every fucking week at this point. Because it's the Game Awards, they released a new cinematic trailer for Elden Ring. This one actually was pretty kind of story heavy. Like they talk a lot about like the kingdom and how it fell, and there's a lot of really fucking cool imagery. All that to say, I can't wait. I mean, we already knew that. We already knew I couldn't wait. So I'm very excited. And we're going to talk more about From Software in our main topics anyway with Demon's Souls. So I won't really sit on this too long. The cinematic trailer is really cool. If you want to look it up, most everyone is hosting it. Just look up Game Awards 2021 Elden Ring, and you'll find it. Anything you wanted to point out in this trailer?
Nothing. I really couldn't figure out I kind of got somewhat of an idea of what they were saying, but not really. But I feel like that's all From Software games. Like even when you play them, you're like, I think I get it.
Just because George R. Martin wrote lore for this, that means it's only mildly more coherent than From Software games. Like very mildly.
It's a visual spectacle. I mean, there's only so much that we can talk about in an audio only medium. So if you're listening, I do highly recommend you go watch it. It's very, very, very beautifully done.
Yeah. Very, very beautiful. It looks like there's a lot of like these champions of the land that become like corrupt and they turn into the bosses that we're eventually going to face, which is pretty commonplace for From Software titles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks really cool. That comes out February 2022 along with a couple other games. Namely the one that we're about to talk about right motherfucking now, which is Horizon Forbidden West, and it's a gameplay trailer that came out for 2021. This also comes out in February. I'm very excited for this. This will be the next PS5 game, PS5 exclusive that I pick up. Well, that's not true. Probably when I'm not buying any more PS5 games until after Christmas because I've told family and friends like there's a couple accessories they can get me. I want the midnight black controller as opposed to the all white one. There's a
so
black
you lose
case.
it more often. I get that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know. First off, I wanted to talk about this when we talked about Demon's Souls, but I love this controller.
It's incredible. It really is.
It feels so good.
It's
in the
ergonomic
hands.
as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but not a huge fan of the white. So I wanted the black controller, and I put black casing panels on this, and I say all that to say that if I get a bunch of PlayStation gift cards, I don't want to, I'm going to use those to buy like Ratchet and Clank, Eternal.
Oh,
and
fuck,
then,
I forgot about Ratchet and Clank. I got to get that. How did I forget about that? I've been talking about it for like 2 years now.
And I heard it looks so good. I don't want to buy it because I don't want someone to pick it up for me or something, and then, I'd be an asshole.
Yeah.
So, plus I have other stuff I can play right now. So, Horizon Forbidden West's gameplay trailer. And I just have to say, did you play the first?
So I played 80% of it and then stopped for no reason at all. And it's an incredible game. It's not like I lost interest or something. It's great. And now that I know this comes out in 2 months, which I was not aware of, I have to play it because I want to play this one.
Surprise. 2 months surprise. Let me just make sure they didn't push it because I'll be a real big dickhead if they did.
A big old dickle.
Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
I remember like what I liked about the first one was that you like could not play it like a normal video game. Like I kept using like the same like regular arrows. Like, why isn't this doing any damage? You have to actually like think about what you're using and what you're using it on. I just thought that was a really cool way to.
I think we might have talked about this, but and I'm sorry to cut you off at the end.
No, it's okay.
I'll talk a little bit about my impression from the first and then this trailer. So, yeah, no, I mean, the first one, it was difficult, but only difficult because they force you to play a certain way. Like you said, you can't just go in guns blazing. I mean, towards the end, you can start to do that a little bit more because you literally just have a bunch of explosive traps that hurt everything. But, I mean, you really have to, they have weaknesses. You scan the enemies and they'll show yellow parts that can get broken off. You have armor plate, piercing arrows, you have arrows that are meant for harvesting. So if there's like canisters on a particular animal, you need to make something, you can aim for those and peel them off. There's a lot of really cool shit, and combat is difficult because of that, because you actually have to do that. You can't get by with brute force. And the clearest example of that is I bought the first one on PS4 when it came out and beat the shit out of it. Loved it. Loved every second. My only complaint about the first one was inventory management became tedious towards the end when you had too much shit. Mm-hmm. That was it. I thought I had poor inventory management. Beat the hell out of it, waited. DLC came out probably like 6 months after. It was a little ways, but it was a chunky one. Frozen Wilds was a pretty well received and big upgrade. So I decided, I didn't even buy it when it came out. I waited like another 6 months, like a year after the game came out, where, you forget how to even move in the game. You forget everything about it. And I'm like, I'm going to go back and play it. So I loaded it up. And I go to the Forbidden, where the DLC starts, and got fucking destroyed by like just these 3 normal creatures that were out in the world. And I was like, oh, right, this game was tough at the end, and now I'm doing the DLC, which was supposed to be more difficult. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. So just give you an idea of like, it actually was, a little difficult if you were to just try to jump back in like that and not remember what the fuck you're doing. I am really excited for this. The gameplay trailer is cool. And honestly, the gameplay trailer for 2 does exactly what I want a gameplay trailer for a sequel to do, which is show me the new additions to combat and the new additions to traversal. And they do that really well. There's a cool shot of Aloy popping what looks like a glider almost.
Yeah.
Like a little,
like see-through. Yeah, that was cool.
That looks really sick. Much needed. She needed some kind of like, let me jump off a cliff and not fucking die mechanic, just to get around quicker. And then they show her underwater fighting, which looks terrifying, by the way. But they show her underwater fighting something, which is also a new kind of territory we haven't been in. Underwater was not really a thing in the first one. And it just looks really cool. I mean, she's got some badass armor sets in this one. She's just doing it. It's gonna look fucking gorgeous. It's gonna look gorgeous because it's a first party PlayStation title, exclusive to the platform. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah,
I really cannot wait. Looks sick, but that's all I got.
That's all I got. The end. I just have to play the first one now. I mean, like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna do it on my PS5 though. I think I'm gonna do it on PC, but then I'm kind of like, well, shouldn't I get used to the controls? You know what I mean? Because it's only coming out on PS5, the second one, that is. So should I just like get used to it by then? I don't know. We'll see. But no, it looks beautiful. I think she had some kind of like grappling hook type thing, right? Am I making that up? She like sort of threw out like a grappling hook, and
I hope so, because that would also be fucking cool.
Yeah,
I want to zoop over to things.
You want to zoop? Zoop
zap. Yeah, there are some fucking cool looking machines in this one. There's like a woolly mammoth looking fucking. There's a lot of cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to this. I also they built a really unique. I know like the post apocalyptic thing is like kind of tired at this point, but they built a really unique like
this is well
like
done.
Caste system. Yeah, like her tribe was more stay true to the earth and kind of underdeveloped as far as technology is concerned. But there's these. The huge city you finally get to, and you're like, oh shit, some people are living like this already? Like, we were living out in the fucking woods. And then her tribe, the Noras, were looked down on for that. They were literally looked at like they were thugs or something, or brutes. Anyway, looks cool. Moving on. That's gonna be our main topics. We're making great time. Do you want a pee-pee break, or you ready to go?
I'm good.
Cool.
I'm holding it.
Cool. Holding it. Holding it. All right, boys. Real quick before we move on, you can find us on Twitter at The Cynical Nerd. You can find us on Facebook at The Cynical Nerd / Cynical Nerd. Sorry. If you want to ask us a question, hashtag AskTCN. If you want to tell us you fucked something up, because we probably did, hashtag FuckTCN.
We do a lot.
If you want to email us, it's questions@thecynicalnerd.com. And look, I'm not begging for your communiques here, but we're going to have a lot to talk about with Spider-Man next week. If you have any questions about that or theories you want to put out there, hey, why don't you do me a favor? Shoot us an email about if you think Tobey Maguire is going to come in doing his Spider-Man 3 dance and what point in the movie, and we'll see if you're right.
And is he going to be an eyeliner? Who knows? Can only hope.
If if you accurately predict something about Toby's appearance in this movie that's not generic, and by that I mean he'll be in a Spider-Man costume, I'll give you a $20 Steam gift card. How's that? Boom! Look at that.
Shit.
Anyway, okay. So main topics this week are Hawkeye episode 4, and then Derek and I are going to talk about some video games again, because like I said at the beginning, we've both been dipping that ball sack in Demon Souls, and because of actually dipping ball sacks in people's faces, the Halo campaign. So, Hawkeye, that was a good transition.
That was really good. Yeah.
Hawkeye episode 4 came out. This one, I was watching it a little drunkenly and messaged Derek, and I said, this is why you give superheroes long form TV shows, because you can really give them much better writing. It's pretty fucking obvious that you can do that. If you have 10 hours of a show with a character as opposed to a 2-hour movie, you're going to get to really fill that character out a bit more. And whereas they did the opposite with Black Widow, they gave her cameo, then her own 2-hour movie. So really she had a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
All told. I've already, I wouldn't say a full 180, but I've come to like Hawkeye far more as a character because of the show already at episode 4. And there's only 6 total, so we're almost done. I thought this episode was really cool. Just to give everybody a refresher, it starts off, they actually have a sit down with the parents, the Rents, about what's going on. Kate's mom is up to something, right? She's got to be involved
100%, without a doubt.
To the point where I almost feel like Jack might be a red herring, because he's been like the evil stepfather since episode 1, and I almost feel like her mom might be the thing and not him.
Well, isn't Jack a character called the Swordsman or something, who's sort of an anti-hero?
Yeah.
Like, he's not a bad guy, but he's not really a good guy.
I don't know his history, but I do know that he's based off a character called the Swordsman, which is funny because of his obsession with swords. Renner, sorry, I should not call the actor by his actual name, Hawkeye, Clint, does some digging into the shell company that they found on her mother's computer called Sloan. Turns out that Jack is the CEO. I feel like his name was planted there by her mom. I really am starting to think that it's just the mom is just behind a bunch of this stuff. And it looks like laundering money for the big guy, probably Uncle, right? Probably Kingpin himself. Yeah. Hopefully, if that prediction is correct, and if it is correct, and if I'm right, he's going to show up this coming week, and I'm very excited to see if I'm right or a total fucking idiot. This episode was cool though, because
I mean, you're not though. You're not wrong. Like it's 100% Kingpin. Like there's no way that's
what
anybody
if it's not
else.
Now? What if they Ralph Boner us again? I feel like I made that joke recently. Did I make that joke recently?
It wasn't here. That was great placement.
Thank you.
What if they Ralph Boner us again? Holy shit! I'm taking that. Oh my god.
You really Ralph Bonered me there. You use that for a lot of aspects in life. I mean, my wife Ralph Bonered last night. Okay, so after the little family meeting in the beginning, they do the part that I really liked about this episode was that Kate, he goes back to the apartment, he talks to his wife, who, before I continue, I think they are going to reveal that she was some sort of former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. There's a lot of rumors that his wife is based off of Mockingbird, I think her name was, which was like an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. who's not active anymore. But she clearly is in the game somehow, right? Because him and his wife have this really great like partner relationship. She's not pissed at him for not being home. Like, she's bummed, but she like gets it. She's like, no, I know that. She's like, you need another night? And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. But there's something going on with that watch that reveals something about her. I think her identity could be a red herring, could be somebody else. But she's just got too much background knowledge. Like, he calls her up about the Sloan company. She gets the info in like 15 fucking minutes. Like, something's going on. But I digress. Well, I'm sure we'll figure more out about that later. The part of this episode that I really love is Kate Bishop shows up at the apartment. He's icing himself with fucking daiquiris. And she's like, tonight's movie night, right? Like, she remembered that he was supposed to have movie night with his kids. She brought a bunch of classics, including Die Hard, which was a influence for the show. the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Fuck you, Tim Allen, as a person, but that movie's fantastic.
Yes.
You're a piece of shit. Good movie though. And it was a really nice, like, she's over. They're having conversations about trick arrows and shit. It was a really nice, like, bonding scene. And then they have a really cool moment where he talks about the first time he ever saw Black Widow. And he was like, sometimes the most important shots are the ones you don't take. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then he talks about he was sent to kill Natasha. And he was like, everything in me was screaming that, like, she wanted out. And he was like, I was right. And then it became a lifelong friend of his.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that to set up the end of the episode where, hey, the new Black Widow, Yelena, shows up from the Black Widow film, who was a gem in that movie. One of the only things in that movie I really liked was her. I think she was great. So I'm happy that it's
just excellent.
Yeah, and I'm happy that she's going to be the new Black Widow moving forward. She's got a lot of character. She was really funny in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
She had great comedic timing. And there's a shot here at the end where she's coming after Clint, which we knew from the post-credits scene of Black Widow, but I kind of forgot about. And Kate Bishop is holding an arrow at her.
Hang on, the post-credit scene in Black Widow, she's going after Clint?
Yeah. For those who might not remember, the post-credit scene was in modern day after Natasha had passed. Yelena was at her grave saying goodbye, and what's her name? Julia Marie Dreyfus. Contessa Vallegro Valentino, the one who's starting the Dark Avengers team.
All right.
She shows up, and she's like, I got a mission for you, and it's a picture of Clint Barton. Something about, like, I don't know if she told Yolanda that, like, Clint killed her. I don't know what they know about how she died. Anyway, yeah, so that was set up as a target for her way back then.
Okay.
And then it was rumored that she was appearing in the series, but I completely had forgot about it. So she shows up to kill Clint, I think. And there's a couple nice, like, mirror images in this fight on this rooftop. They find out that Echo has family information about Hawkeye, which is very dangerous. Kate gets thrown off the roof. So she's holding an arrow to Black Widow, Yelena, and she mirrors their conversation from earlier. She pauses. Yelena, like, shakes her head. For some reason, we don't know where this is going, obviously, but she decides not to shoot. And then Kate just gets fucking yeeted off the side. Just like a vault, just throws her over her head. And in a shot mirroring Natasha's death, actually, Clint is holding her over, but there's a safety net, basically, of fucking Christmas lights below her. He's like, no, you got to get out of here. Like, he's obviously.
That fucking scene was so fucking good. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
but that was so good. And I actually hate the original scene. It's like a soap, you know what I mean? Like in whatever it's called when he's holding her over the soul stone thing. Like, it's okay. It's so corny. But, like, that reference to it was like, oof, like, that hit me right in the fucking chest, dude, where you can just see the panic in his face where he's like, oh my God, it's happening again. I let it happen again. Holy fucking shit. That part was so good.
And he knows because he's really started to become attached to her, and he likes her, and he's like, I can't put you in this situation. And you have a little bit of the I love you, so get away from me trope, but it's fine because they've earned it. And honestly, you know that he's attached to her now, and really has taken her under his wing. So he's like, you're not doing this. You're not my partner. Get the fuck out of here. Basically, he doesn't say fuck, but he cuts the rope. She just takes the elevator back up in this really corny scene. Yeah. Haley Steinfeld is like, she's charming in this weird way. So, like, those kind of scenes don't bother me because I'm like, yeah, it's in character for her. Mm-hmm. She comes back up. They continue the fight. Anyway, the whole show, the whole episode this time was just kind of like to introduce Yelena's in the mix now. And things are kind of coming to a head. So there's only 2 episodes left, which means the penultimate one is next, where usually the big reveals or the shakeups are. I will remind you all, before I ask Derek to give his thoughts, that I have predicted that Kingpin will be revealed in episode 5, and then shortly after, Matt Murdock will be revealed in No Way Home when we go to see it, and that will be a 1-2 poetic punch of, hey, guess what? These 2 people are in the MCU proper now, and I will come all over the popcorn box bowl. Yeah, bag, sure, whatever one you want. Derek, I'm sorry for talking for so long.
No.
How did you feel about this episode?
It's okay. I felt great about it. I hate to sound like that guy that's like, oh, well, it didn't surprise me, but Yolanda showing up did not. Like the whole show I've been
Did you
expecting
see Yolanda?
Or what's her name?
Yelena.
Let
me make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah, it's Yelena Belova.
Okay, Yelena. Okay. So when the whole show, I've been expecting her to show up. Not weirdly enough, I forgot the whole thing post-credit scene in Black Widow. You just figure it's right, and most of the movie too. You have Clint, his best friend's dead. Her sister is out there somewhere. So I just figured at some point she would be showing up. And so as soon as they were like on the rooftop and it was clearly a woman, she's masked. I'm like, all right, so she's masked. So why don't they want us to know her identity? It's because it's someone we know. So who do we know? It's got to be not Yolanda. But it was a cool reveal regardless. I think Florence Pugh is an excellent actress. I agree. In that shit show of a movie, Black Widow, she was the best part. Even David Harbour, who I love, was like he was like a total chode in that movie. Yeah, I don't know. You kind of hit every mark. Like it's still retaining. It has the same exact thing. So what I had said when we first covered the first, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes, is that I said I was worried that, or what I liked about it was how grounded it was and how simple it was. We're the good guys. Those are the bad guys. We got to stop them. And that I was hoping that they weren't going to like introduce some, like reality shifting big bad who's going to like has a bomb underneath the city or something. We only have 2 episodes left and there's really nothing to indicate that so far. It's just Clint now knows that the Black Widows are involved. So now he's like, all right, my fear this whole time that my family could be sucked into all this is even more realized. Which is, again, it retains its kind of grounded reality. It's still just about, well, I have to protect my family, period. Right. That's what makes it good. It's just like, it's relatable. You're relating to a guy who's, jumping off of roofs and shooting trick arrows and shit like that. That's what makes it fun. You can't relate to a guy in a billionaire in a fucking suit of armor that can, nanoparticle fucking atomic bombs and shit. Like, it's just over the top. And this isn't. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the last 2 episodes. I'm excited to achieve my nut, and I hope that you get yours. You have a double nut set up, though. Like, my nut is just Kingpin shows up. Your double nut is Kingpin shows up, and Matt Murdock shows up in No Way Home. So you have, like, even if you nut next week, there's still half in there that you have to hopefully get out on the mandate.
You're right. Right. Well,
and I'm happy to help any way I can.
Hey. Okay, so yeah, Hawkeye's still impressing me. I'm very much looking forward to it. We'll get that next episode on Wednesday. Cannot wait. So this week we're gonna get a Hawkeye episode 5 on Wednesday, Witcher 2 on Friday, Spider-Man on Saturday. Lots of stuff happening. Mm-hmm. Okay, so video game chit chat time. Derek and I have both had some time to sit with our new PS5 children. My first son is very jealous, and we've been playing Demon Souls, which we've talked about Derek's newfound love of From Software titles and going through them. And in preparation for Elden Ring coming out, we were like, hey, well, let's get the fucking Demon Soul remake. So, Demon Soul remake on PS5 was not actually made by From Software; it was made by Bluepoint. Obviously, the original title is a From Software game, but just so you know, the remake was not remade by From Software. However, by all accounts, animations, character movements, everything is identical to the original, with some small changes. I think they renamed a couple weird, like, random things. Anyway, overall thoughts on the game, and I'm gonna let you start first because I rambled for so long on Hawkeye. How have you been enjoying? And this is fresh for both of us, and I have some things to bring up too. But how have you been enjoying your time with Demon Souls so far, specifically compared to what you played, basically the culmination of the Souls series so far, which is Dark Souls 3? Like, what's been your experience?
I have, all right, my history with From is this, very briefly. I played the first 10th of Sekiro twice, got frustrated, quit, never went back.
We're supposed to do that at some point, yeah.
Yeah. 3, I played all the way through and fell absolutely in love with it. I was hoping that I was going to get 1 done before I got the PS5, which I did not, but I got about a third of the way through it. and now I'm playing Demon Souls, of course, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. Like you said, it's a remake from Blue Point, but it's basically just like a visual touch-up type thing. It's from
looks incredible.
It looks. It's like one of the most graphically impressive games I've ever played. The performance is really good too. It's from Soft's, not their first game, but it's their first like Souls game. It's sort of started everything else. So that being said, like some of that, knowing that it's the first one, I have to sort of give them a little bit of leeway on what I'm saying here, but I'm not really that crazy about this game. Like I'm not as crazy about it as I want to be. There's the disjointed world, the non-interconnected world, which again, it came out a long time ago. So like I get that there's like areas you load into, but then it's just like, oh, let me go back to the hub and then teleport to area 2-1 and then to area 3-2. And it's like, it just feels like a Mario game at that point.
Yeah.
There's just no sense of like everything being all a part of one just universe. The story is, I mean, the story is never really there in any of these games, but it's really not there in this one. Like, I really don't know what I'm doing or why I'm fighting these demons. At least in Dark Souls, like, as much as the, like, you know, minute to minute story, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I at least know, like, anytime I'm killing something, it's like, oh, this is a Lord of Cinder. Oh, this is an Heir of Fire. Like, this is someone who has to, whose souls I have to absorb in order to be strong enough to relink the fire. Like, there's some sense of, like, I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's just like, there's people here and they suck and you want to kill the big ones. Like, that's the story of this game. The things like item upgrades. This is stuff, again, I feel weird complaining about because the item upgrades aren't as, I don't like them as much because it's like, you don't even get the ability to use boss souls to upgrade weapons until halfway through the game when you kill the flame lurker. Whereas in like Dark Souls 3, for instance, you can do it from the moment you kill the first boss. But again, some of that stuff is just like, all right, it's their first game and not everything was going to be polished. Like, they worked on stuff since then. But that being said,
these are like the seeds of the ideas that will be fleshed out later.
Exactly. So I'm not saying like, wow, this game sucks and it's terrible. But if I didn't have this drive to now play through every Souls games and I just like picked this game up and was playing it, I would almost certainly have stopped and not picked it up by now. But since I have this drive where like I want to be able to say that I played through all of them, of course I'm going to finish it, and I'm most of the way through it. Like I said, I think I'm just about 2/3 of the way. So I'm going to finish it. I hate to sound so negative. Like, I look forward to coming home and playing it. Like, I like the challenge, but some of the difficulties really, it's like some difficulties like, oh, I didn't dodge at the right time, or, oh, I got greedy and I used too much stamina and that's why he just, you know, knocked me off the cliff or whatever. And then other times it's like, oh, those manta rays, there's 17 of them flying around. So you're trying to focus on these 3 guys in front of you, but they're all pelting fucking crystal shards at you for some reason. It's like, that's not like fun difficulty. That's like difficulty for the sake of difficulty, if that makes sense. I don't know. There's just a lot of moments like that in the game that I'm just like, I don't know. It's not.
It feels weird to call that kind of stuff like artificial difficulty because all of it is artificial. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a mechanic to master. It's like an annoyance to get rid of.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same vein. So, like you said, I mean, it's very clearly.
Is this your first? Did you not play the original?
Huh?
Did you play the original?
Oh no, I did not play the original. I've played my Souls background is I have played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. I have played Bloodborne. I have never played Demon Souls. I always knew about it. Always wanted to play it, but like back in the day, I think it was a PS3 exclusive, and I just never had it. Nor at that time did I ever have any drive to play those types of games. That came later with Bloodborne on PS4. That was my entryway, and then I kind of went backwards. Yeah, the thing that immediately stuck out to me was the lack of like an Estus flask, like the healing with the grass, which is okay sometimes, but I think the idea, and clearly the answer was yes, because that's what they've been using for all the subsequent games. I think the Estus shard just works so much better with the design of this game, the cyclical nature of the zones, how you kind of beat your head against these zones until you figure them out and you get all the shortcuts unlocked, and then you beeline it for the boss and kill him. I think the Estus Shard concept works so much better because in this game, it's only happened once, but because they're consumable, if you're really having a tough time with an area and you use all of them, you have to literally go back to a zone previous and farm them, which is not that crazy. But it's kind of tedious. It's like, I want to go fight this boss, but I have to go back and get more healing shit because I ran out of it. Only happened to me once so far, but it did happen once, and it was a pain in the ass. Like you said, I don't want to tread familiar ground too much here, trying to come up with original criticisms, but the ability to upgrade shit is kind of wonky. For example, like the sword that I'm using, which is just the starter sword for the Wanderer, the Falcon, Falchion. I don't know how you say it.
Falchion.
Falchion. That's the French way you say it. The upgrade system for that is almost exclusively sharpstone shards, which you really only get in like the 2 world, like the tunneling area.
Yeah. So
I'm like, okay, I've been through a couple zones since then. I should be able to upgrade my weapon again. Oh no, I've gotten 0 of those from those subsequent zones. So I have to go back to that zone and farm more of them to continue upgrading. It feels really weird to have to do that. It's like these should just be drops throughout the world so that as you progress through the levels, you can upgrade your... It's just another example of like the consumables versus the Estus Shard. Like there's the seed of the idea, but it's not fleshed out in a way that feels like all these systems are working together to make an experience. They feel disjointed. Mm-hmm. This game also has the earlier symptom of the Souls games, which is that like Dark Souls 1's, which is that the zone is more challenging almost exclusively than the boss.
Oh my God, big time.
To the point where the bosses have become jokes. The last 3 bosses I one-shot with little to no trouble. I just killed Flame Lurker last night, and I'm in the zone after. So I'm behind Derek, but that's mostly due to our next topic, which we'll get to in a minute. But I mean that the lack of bonfires throughout the level is fine for the most part because of the shortcuts. Although the shortcuts are not, the level design is really good, but the shortcut system is not as perfected as they had in like Dark Souls 1. So you still, like, even though there are shortcuts and the levels loop back on themselves, there's still quite a bit of a run if you do die to that boss to get back to that boss room.
And there's some where there's no shortcut, and the most grueling area that I've sorry to interrupt, but here's an example of what kind of annoys me about this game. The one area that was the most grueling, which is I think 4-2 for me. That's what I'm talking about, with the rays pelting you while you're trying to fight skeletons on a fucking cliff ridge.
Island's Edge or something.
Wide. Yeah. And there's no shortcut. It took me, I don't know, 25 times to get to the boss. So my thing is with this game is like, well, with any of these games, I'm sorry, is I never look up the strategy for the boss until I try the boss at least one time. And then like I'll look up, like what's the recommended, gear or whatever, and do that. And so I actually got to the boss fog gate after I finally got through. And I looked up and there was no shortcut. Every time you have to just do the same thing again and again and again. And I was like, fuck it. I'm looking up the strategy for this boss. I am not losing this fucking boss fight. Like, I'm not doing that. And he was
easy as shit anyway.
And he was super easy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I was like, I'm not taking a fucking risk on it. Oh my God. Sorry, I interrupted you, but I agree.
That's fine. And the thing is, like, I don't, obviously the entire game is challenging, so I don't mind a challenging zone. But I prefer to have the stronger boss fights. I mean, that's where the Souls games really cut its really what's the word I'm looking for? Cut its teeth or honed its, I don't fucking know. It's where it dug its claws into me. I guess that
honed
works.
Its teeth. That's it.
Yeah.
Cut its claws. Yeah. Got it.
It's not Yolanda. That's where I really. By the way, I think it's probably the episode title. Yeah, it's not Yolanda. Demon Souls. I know that we're making critiques, but it's from a place of love. I do enjoy this game, and I will finish it. It's just that, like you said, it's like you're going. It's such a weird dichotomy because you were playing this gorgeous PS5 game. I mean, it really, like, I know that we shit on console sometimes because we both have really nice 3080 built computers. And I do prefer PC, but there will always be an advantage to making a game for one console because those developers can eke out. They know exactly what hardware they're working with, and they can eke every last bit of fucking RAM out of that system. And that means that even though my computer is still more powerful currently 1-to-1 than this PS5, this game looks fucking incredible and runs incredible because of the console that it's on. So it's a really weird dichotomy to play a game that looks like it came out this year, but the systems feel like they came out 10 years ago. And I haven't been enjoying it, and I am going to finish it, just like Derek said. And I do love it, and I love From Software as a company. There's these little things here and there where I'm like, I don't look forward to the boss fights anymore. They're just a checkbox, and I that's really disappointing to me because that's the part of Souls games that I love, like I just said. So it's like grueling, getting through these grueling levels and figuring my way out, and the tunnel areas are just obnoxious in general because the enemies, like if you don't backstab them, take 1,000 hits per.
So just so you know, I was just gonna say, if you have a crescent weapon, it destroys everything in the tunnel city, including you already killed Flame Lurker, but that's what they're all weak to because crescent uses magic as it's scaling. I'm sorry, I guess you already knew. I'm mansplaining to you.
I'm already through the zone, but I mean the dredge enemies I just backstabbed as often as possible. The normal, they die pretty quick to that. The fire guys, I only killed like 2 of them, the little like critters. And then I just ignored the rest because you can, and fuck them, I just run around them. They're so slow and they're so obnoxious. Because I literally like broke my fucking weapon trying to kill 2 of them in one run. And then the boss, I used the white, whatever the slime for the blade is that puts magic in. He died first try. Anyway, fun, but you know, if I was doing this, I would have loved to have played this first before I played the others because I would have gotten to really love the growth of each subsequent game. And Derek and I have agreed to buddy play Sekiro. And we've talked about Demon's Souls. We talked about co-oping it. And honestly, I don't think it really makes a lot of sense because I'm not going to replay it. And we both talked about.
I'm only going to do it. Like I said, like Ron and I have that like YouTube video that channel that we have in the works. That's the only time I'm going to replay it, probably.
So we were like, oh, we're going to co-op it. But what I found is more enjoyable is just like us playing it to get like side by side. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Parallel. So him and I just be like, oh, what zone are you? Blah, blah, blah. And kind of like that way, we're still experiencing it. You know, he'd be like, oh, that boss was a dick, you know. But because I'm not going to replay it. Like if this was Dark Souls 3, I'm like, fuck yeah, New Game Plus. Let's, you know, let's play this one together. Now that we both triumphed on our own. Anyway, enough gabbing about that one. We got one more to talk about, which is the release of the Halo single player campaign. Oh, Derek, I'll have you start off with your thoughts about this, just because I've been talking for so goddamn long.
Sure.
It came out on the 8th, the single player campaign, and take it away.
Okay, I will. I will take it. I will take it away. I'll take it away by saying that when I'm wrong, I have to admit that I'm wrong. And I was wrong about Halo. 100%. I was incorrect about this game. I was shitting on it from the beginning. Just like with Loki, okay? I very publicly admitted that I was wrong about Loki. Multiplayer came out. Multiplayer was fun. Not perfect. It definitely needs some tweaking, but it's good. It's tight. The core sort of aspect of toit of Halo is there. With enough new stuff that doesn't like totally warp it into something completely different. But anyway, with campaign, I kept telling myself like, oh, I'll just, I'll wait, see what reviews are looking like before I actually buy it. Well, I didn't realize I never canceled my Game Pass subscription from when I played Back 4 Blood literally 2 times. And since it's a day one release on Game Pass, I figured, fuck it, might as well just download it and try it. And I am having a fucking blast with it. It's for anyone who doesn't know, it's done in an open world type layout wherein you just kind of go from point to point. You might be saving a pack of stranded Marines. You might be capturing a forward operating base that what are they called? The Banished, which is a sect of the Brutes, that they have overtaken. You're kind of taking it back. You're unlocking new weapon. Once you have a forward operating base, if you have enough Valor points from doing these missions, you can unlock new weapons, variant weapons that look and behave differently. Variant vehicles, like you have your, of course, turret Warthog versus a missile Warthog. The main thing that this game does well, which is interesting, it's almost like the Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal formula, is that it made mobility and verticality its strength. So you basically have the grappling hook, which we all had in multiplayer, and it's kind of like you find a use every now and then for it in multiplayer, but it's not like a game changer. Campaign, it's a game changer. It's a complete, you can dip out if you happen to be under heavy fire, you can dip out. If you see a vantage point, you can zip up there and then take out a long distance rifle and take out who you can. But I have to say, like, the story of this game so far, I haven't really been like overly introduced to like the main brunt of the story just yet. I'm pretty early in because I'm kind of hitting everything on the way to each story mission. But I will say that the characters are great so far. Like, I really thought that I was going to not give a shit about Cornata. And she's actually my favorite character. She's like first day on the job intern Cortana. She's like sweet, cute little, and I feel like they kind of captured lightning in a bottle with Cortana twice, where it's like, she's still the same basic personality, but it's like a different version of, well, literally it is a different version of Cortana. And so they had the kind of sassy Cortana in the original trilogy, and now they have this sort of naive and sweet and like cheeky one. I can't think of the guy's name. I think he goes by his call sign, which is Echo 216 or something. The guy who saves you from space in the beginning of the game. Right. He's a great character. I feel like he's our insert into the game because he's like freaking out. Like, can we just go home? What the fuck are we doing here? Like, he's just kind of panicking the whole time. He clearly has some family back home that he just wants to get back home to. I mean, that's it. I don't know what to say. Like, it's just fun. It's just like going from base to base and finding new ways to like capture them. Murder. Do you want to go in? Yeah. Do you want to go in like balls to the wall with like some Marines and a Warthog? Do you want to sneak in? I feel like a lot of the weapons in multiplayer that are useless are so good in campaign. Because you have like plasma weapons that take down shields, but then kinetic weapons, which are good against armor. So like, depending on who you're facing, you kind of have to decide what you want your loadout to be. That's kind of it. That's kind of everything. I'm loving it so far. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I don't like it. I love it. I think it's really, really, really good so far. And some people that I've read who have beaten it have said that it has in the whole campaign is just really exceptional throughout. So I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah. So I've my experience with the campaign so far has been every night I turn on my computer. Well, sit down on my computer. It's always on. And I'm like, what do I want to do? I play some Demon's Souls. Or I can just turn on Halo Infinite and clear some icons off the map, because that's extremely enjoyable to me. Like, just running base to, like you said, like running base to base. One of my favorite things is that the Marines around you, like either the squads that you save or the ones that are just chilling at like the forward operating bases after you liberate them. Like, when you summon a vehicle and you beep the horn, they're just ready to fucking ball.
They're like, yeah, let's just go. Where are we going?
Yeah, we're gonna follow you. You're the fucking goat, bro. Like, I actually really love that aspect of it. I accidentally get them killed a lot, and I'm very sorry about that. Rip, random Marines. I have been following the story only because I haven't played an actual Halo campaign in quite some time. I did not play Reach. I did not play ODST campaign wise, so I didn't know what was going on. I did not play 5. And so I've been paying attention.
You should say you didn't play 4 either, because it's weird to just mention just not 1.
I
didn't just miss 1.
Or whoops. Well, anything in between 3 and now. How's that? So I've been paying attention, and I think although the generic alien faction thing is kind of a super tired trope and is only there to be fodder for the ends of all my weapons, the idea of the Banished is kind of cool because they're like, fuck the Prophet and all these people who are telling you like the religious zealotry of like sending you to go fucking die. We're the Banished. We're the ones that were smart enough to say like, we're not dying for your cause. We're taking this shit over for us. Like we're breaking away. They're kind of like a rebellion group. From what I gather, against the previous factions, the Flood or whatever the fuck they were called. That's kind of a decent concept for an alien faction. Just the general moment-to-moment gameplay of like, I have yet to find a mountain I couldn't zip up, which is really neat. A lot of the weapons are super fun to use, and like you said in the campaign, that might not. You're like, nah, fuck that in the multiplayer, but they really do have a place. And the variety of activities, I'm sure, will grow tiresome at some point. But for right now, checking out Mega Base versus just liberating a fob, versus just saving a squad of people, versus just running around finding Spartan cores. The game is beautiful. The ring is really well designed. It looks really cool. This is the big map we're looking at so far. I'm not incredibly deep into the story, but the stuff I have done, like one of the early missions is basically like a interrogation tower, a torture tower. Yeah. And you get in there and you find a Spartan's armor that's been forcefully removed. And it kind of tripped something in me. I was like, wait, isn't the armor like non-removable or some shit like that?
No, it's removable.
Okay. But they just made it sound like forcefully removing it was very painful for this guy. And then you find him and he's got a couple last words for you. And then he dies, and there was something, spoiler alert, and there was something like a little heartfelt in there for me, which I didn't expect in the Halo trailer. It's like, this guy is another Spartan soldier like Chief, and Chief is like I said, a legend at this point. Like, he's been a legend for games on games. So this guy's looking up to ostensibly like his hero / comrade. And it was a little sad times for me. But I thought that level was really cool. Like kind of like working your way up the tower, and then just the combination of like the cool threat sensor that you get to unlock with the grapple hook in combat, the various weapons. It's just all come together to be an experience I did not expect to enjoy. Yeah. I think part of it is, sure, the combat is basically Halo combat, like with the addition of some new fun toys. Like it's still Halo, but because me personally, I haven't really played a Halo game in quite a long time. That's factoring in, I think, at least for me, in the enjoyment, because I'm like, oh yeah, right, like this still kind of has a place, whereas like I really thought it just didn't anymore. And again, I admit I was wrong. I'm having fun with it. I would have more fun with it if we were allowed to co-op it.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the one thing I was thinking this whole time is like, as much fun as I'm having, if we could be co-oping right now, like
super fun.
Yeah, like you're up on a ridge sniping and I'm down with a shotgun or something, like that would be fucking, like capturing a base like that would be incredible. I think that the whole thing they're trying to do is like give you a sense of isolation, that you're there alone and like you alone have to fix the issue, and then they'll release co-op. But at the same time, I don't want to simp for multi-million-dollar companies, so I'm not going to. They should have included it from day one.
Yeah, I agree. It's very fun. I have so many fond memories, even if I'm not in the same room with somebody. I have so many fond memories of playing co-op Halo campaigns and just turning it up like as high as difficulty as we could fucking handle and having a blast with it. So that's my only critique, honestly, so far. The game runs pretty well on, then again, we have 3080s, so it runs pretty well. I had to crank, no humble brag. I had to crank one or two settings down a notch just to stop like the random stutter here and there. Nothing crazy though. It runs pretty. It could use a little more optimization, but the world is really beautiful. Textures are incredible. Even getting up close to them, they look really well. Yeah. Look really good. I said look really well. It's fucking wrong. Anyway, final thoughts. For now, I will definitely be playing the Halo campaign. I think it's getting more of my time right now than Demon's Souls. I actually had to stop playing last night, and I was like, I want to put some time in on Demon's Souls before I go to bed. So I'm gonna probably do the same thing tonight. mix the podcast, play a bunch of Halo, and then I'll allot like an hour or two to Demon Souls. See how far I get. But that's the end. That's the end of all the stuff we're gonna talk. That's it. It's not Yolanda. Episode 48. I gotta think of a thumbnail. We need a good thumbnail.
Just it's got to be Florence Pugh's character with someone who's famously named Yolanda photoshopped on top of her face.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Good. All right, sounds good. So until next time, next week is the big one. I'm very excited for next week. We're gonna be talking about that. Shit's gonna be fresh out the fucking oven, and by that I mean fresh into our eyeballs and burned into our cerebellums. Sure, you know what I'm saying. Burned on the back of our retinas. I don't know. I'm gonna stop now. But Spider-Man No Way Home reviews next week. Witcher 2 episodes 1 and 2 next week. Fucking Hawkeye episode 5. So hopefully lots of really cool shit to talk about. Mm-hmm. Very much looking forward to it. Until then, stay frosty. I don't know. I'll see you next time.
You stay sharp out there. Well, we didn't plug ourselves. We have to do our we have to do our plugs.
You stay fresh. Hello Fresh, thanks for sponsoring this episode. Derek, where can everybody find you at? You're right, I did forget.
You goofy.
I'll admit it.
They can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Dr. Gloom MD. That's DRGLOOMMD. MMDs.
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at TCN Plays. I'll be honest with you, haven't been streaming again, and you know why I haven't been streaming? Still fighting off the death. Although, obviously, throat is much healed. I only had to mute my mic one time to cough this time. So I should be on the mend here. Hopefully it stays that way. Go get your fucking booster shots if you haven't gotten them yet. God damn it, everyone's spreading around more COVID stuff. And now, with that public health announcement, now we'll say bye-bye.
We bid you adieu.
We bid you adieu.